We all know the importance of how we represent ourselves. The things we say and the things we do influence the people around us. It's all about the message we are sending, including the things that we wear. Christians can be more aware of the messages we bring to others in their clothing with Covenant Press. Covenant Press is a faith-based Christian apparel and accessory store that is fearfully and wonderfully made. If you want to wear the message of Christ and Christianity, then go to their website at covenant-press.com. That's www.covenant-press.com. For the next 24 hours, you will get 25% off the purchase of $50 or more using the discount code GROWTH at checkout. Sign up and become a member to receive points for future purchases. Again, that's covenant-press.com, www.covenant-press.com to get 25% off your purchase of $50 or more using discount code GROWTH at checkout. Tell your friends and family about covenant-press.com so we can all share the message. Welcome to Laquita's Toolbox, where we deliver relevant content in the form of tools that empower entrepreneurs to elevate personally and professionally. Good is only good until greater is envisioned. You know there's another level in you. Here we discuss the tools to get you there. Lean in as Laquita and her guests present you with strategies and insight for unlocking your full potential to realize your boldest dream.
Welcome back to another great episode of Laquita's Toolbox. I am your host, Laquita Monley, and I am just excited to have an amazing guest in the studio with me today, Mr. Jeffery L. Edwards. He is an author, musician, CEO, and podcast host. Jeffrey's going to share some amazing information with us today. We're going to just have some great fun, some great conversations. So guys that follow the podcast know it's something to write with and something to write on, because you don't want to miss the tools that Jeffrey's going to share with us today. But before we get started, let me take a moment to thank our sponsors at Covenant Press. Covenant Press is a faith-based Christian apparel and accessory shop where we as believers can shop online for clothing and accessories that allow us to wear the love of Jesus, the message of the love of Jesus Christ. Go out to www.covenant-press.com. Again, that's www.covenant-press.com. Shop till you drop now. It's some great stuff on that website, but don't click off their pop-ups too quick because you'll miss your discount code. Daily, Covenant Press has some amazing discounts and specials that they offer to those that shop with them. So you want to get that pop-up, grab that code, put it in the appropriate place at the checkout to enjoy the savings of shopping with Covenant Press. Jeffrey, you know what?
Yes.
It's going to be a good conversation, sir, because it's been some obstacles for us to get here. Like,
hey, I sat waiting for it to start. I doze off and I just hear a voice like, what in the world? Who got up here? Oh, the show. I forgot. Man. Scared the crap out of me.
Listen. Look, I was sitting there waiting, like, is he coming? Is he coming? What is he doing?
Yeah, I scared the crap out of me.
I did on my phone, and I was like, oh, Lord, let me see if he can hear me. Whatever he might be, but you know what? It's all good, sir, because I appreciate your patience. Because when we were supposed to first meet, you know, I wanted to take my local internet provider and just bury them.
Oh no!
Look, because they're out more than they're in, but that's another rant for another day. I'm probably gonna rant about that on live in a minute. Why am I paying you?
Yeah, I understand.
If you're down more than you're up. You know, you're not working more than you're working.
Yeah, I understand that struggle.
Listen, People know we have to have internet.
Mm-hmm.
Everything works on internet. I need my internet to function. Amen. I need it to function. Absolutely. But look, I know how great and wonderful you are. I've had the pleasure of being a guest on your amazing podcast, Middle Ground with JLE LLC, where you make everybody feel like family.
Yeah, that's the model.
You make everybody feel like family. So listen, those that might not know who you are, take a minute, run down your resume to us. Let us know who you are and what you do, because you got some amazing things going on, sir.
Yeah, I'm getting used to talking about myself. It's kind of weird. I'm an author. I released 2 books from the #Musician Thought Inspirational Book Series on Amazon.com. I'm a musician. I released 2 albums, JLE Experience, JLE World recently. Good positive music, banging beat from Detroit, so you got to bob your head when you ride. And I'm the CEO, owner of Middle Ground with JLE L.L.C, where we treat you like family, where the mission statement is to interview amazing individuals in all career fields to help someone find their purpose.
That's awesome. And listen, if you have not tuned in Middle Ground with JLE L.L.C, you need to do that. And if you have not been interviewed by Jeffrey, you need to get on his waiting list, because he truly does make everybody feel like family. Like, it's been such amazing, we connected on LinkedIn, and that's one of the beautiful things about social media. And I would say with LinkedIn in particular, I've made some great connections on other platforms, but the connections that I've been able to make on LinkedIn have been very meaningful, very impactful to me on a personal and a professional level. And your podcast definitely ranks up there with one of my best connections made on LinkedIn that have helped me to grow personally and professionally. So I want to thank for that opportunity, and even seeing how you have grown and how the podcast has grown. It's like, wow. I mean, you have some big, heavy hitters on your podcast, sir. Like, yes, come on now, talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, I had to step out of my comfort zone and reach out to people, which was weird, because I'm like, they're going to look at me like stranger danger, what this guy wants. So I know they're going to go to my page, see what he's talking about. I know I do the same thing, like, who are you, what you want? Like, oh, okay. This is what he's doing. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And the only biggest thing I've dealt with was people thinking it's going to be traditional media. Like, no, this ain't Dan Rather, nobody. It's informal, cool conversation, all about you and how you got to where you are.
Yeah.
Market, promote whatever you got going on in our profits, because I need that. Ask a few questions about what you got going on, but it's mainly that last question. What advice do you have for someone trying to find their purpose? Mm-hmm. I feel if you're very comfortable, you can really give your best insight to help someone, whether they watch live or the replay.
That's so very true. That's so very true. And it's so conversational. And for me, that's how I learn when I'm listening to a podcast or a show and it's so conversational, it's like I'm a part of it. And that's how you feel as a listener, like you're a part of that, and I can learn a lot, and it keeps my attention. It's not like dry and boom, 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 boom. It's a conversation.
Now, I've had a few where I guess they don't really think I'm going to be coming at them like to celebrate them and what they're doing. So it made me work to get them comfortable. You're going to get comfortable. So I got to sing a song. I got to say a joke. You're going to relax and be celebrated. Because that's the point to get that question about you. But whatever I got to do.
They made you sing a song, sir. They made you sing a song. Hey. You broke out in song.
I start singing DuckTales theme song. I do something. You all laugh like, okay, it's all about you. Whatever you got going on. And I've learned that some people don't always update their LinkedIn profiles. Mm-hmm. So I always try to introduce them most accurately, but I might find out, okay, you're author. Like, okay, well, on your page, I didn't see that. So maybe you need to update everything you got going on because you're doing some amazing things.
That's so very true. That's so very true. Like, when I got your bio, I was like, I didn't realize his show was in the 7th season. It's like,
yeah, we season 8, episode 5 this Friday coming up. Like, wow.
Yes. So look, take a minute to tell us about your journey as a podcaster. Speak to those people who have just started podcasting or thinking about becoming a podcaster, what has it been like for you?
Wow. Well, I started it back in summer 2020 when I was finishing my bachelor's degree at Wayne State University, my JLE School of Business for Management. I watch sports shows, political shows. I know a little something. I can talk about stuff. I'm somewhat entertaining, I think. And I started doing it with my iPhone, the old, out the trunk with it, just cord, put it everywhere. Okay. Had a few guests on, not bad. Created a YouTube channel, okay. But then I started looking out, okay, I want to move up in my career with my degree, so I stopped for a while. I was looking for jobs, and that was a grind. Even got depressed for a minute, man, just give your boy a chance. I'm trying to move up in these streets. And then I was on Facebook, and my boy mom, who has her own show, A Word of Encouragement on 1440 in Detroit Station. I guess she put it on Anchor. I'm like, what is Anchor? It's ain't a boat or nothing. So I like researching. Okay, I'm gonna research. Oh, it's audio. Oh, wow. That's pretty cool. I can reboot my show and I ain't gotta look at nobody, just audio conversation. So I looked at my degree on my mantle, I don't know where this will go, but put the same energy it took to get that into it. And my little goal was if I would have got to say episode 22 of season 1 by January 22, Pop Bottles, we had a good run. I ain't trying to be no purpose Moses or nothing. I had no idea about none of that. I'm going to do a little something, keep it moving. And when I got my degree, I made a little video about, be the hardest work in the room. Ain't nothing you can't do. If I did, you can do it. I put on LinkedIn because I had to get on LinkedIn for a class project. Never used it out, but that little video about my degree and encourage others had almost 4,000 reactions. Wow. And my good friend Chris Mattoon started reaching out you a role model, you doing this now. I'm like, I know this cat. I don't know this man. He seemed cool though. So he sent me his book, Cheating in Depth to 10 Thriving Life Principles. I'm like, wow, I've been through a lot. Maybe I should interview him. So I didn't think about the interviewing on the other show. And he told about Major Jeffery L., another good dude who did a Black Bottom Bread book, was an amazing book, should be a movie. And they're so where your book at, Jeff? I'm like, you heard we said, where your book? Man, I wrote a love story back in 2000. Kept getting all these viruses. So I'm tired from that game. Nah, man, where your book? It's 2 against 1. They big bro, so I guess I should see if I can break one. I wrote it last July, and I wasn't gonna release it. Oh man, you got it.
So you wrote it, but you wasn't gonna release it.
Nah, man, I got it.
Oh, now?
Usher, we was at high school. Oh wow, man, you talked about it in the first album, but it's a song. People ain't paying attention. A book is forever, ever.
Forever. So is music, and we're gonna get to that in a minute.
But God got on my head in September, you need to put this book out now. Quit playing. I don't want to get slapped too hard, so I put it out. And a guy that I engaged with on Instagram read it and said it gave him a reason to move on. And that,
whoa, that's how
it was. If it don't help no one else, it was meant to help him. So you can't. It ain't about you no more. And that's when guys start talking you need to make your focal point of the show help someone find a purpose. I know you can talk about all topics, but that's the focal point. I'm like, oh man, okay, we're gonna do the Moses moment. What you talking about? I gotta reach out to people. I don't like people like that. I'm an introvert. Ain't do I do music and all this? I gotta say hello. Oh man, it's weird. I don't like this. But God, he don't play them games when you got assignment. Hey, get out your comfort zone.
Assignment, you better be about your father.
Get on there and start saying, hey, how are you? I'm so and so. Guess help someone find a purpose. And I'm pretty sure people looked at who is this dude? Purpose? What are you talking? And it was still trying to figure out, okay, well, what type of question you need to ask? I did have journalism in high school. I guess I know a little something about this.
Right.
To me, I asked the most basic questions about what you got going on, whether through your website or your LinkedIn page, to get to that last question. And I don't know where I came up with where we treat you like family. And it just started becoming more, that's the mission statement. You got to make people feel comfortable to share their story so they can help someone find their purpose. And it just started getting some guests here and there. And it wasn't until I came across Robin Wilson and Tisha Hammond. Shout out to both.
Yes.
She was interviewing Robin about a book she did at the African Museum here in Detroit. I'm like, well, connect with both of them. See what happens. Interviewed Robin. It was a great interview. Then I interviewed Tisha. And she was like, you got something good here. There's a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people that's doing stuff. You got a lot of guests on your show. I thought she was being nice. What she talking about? She don't got a gang of names like that. She with that first list, I'm like, whoa.
She the plug, okay?
Yeah, I'm like, this is like, what?
She is the plug. She is the small business cheerleader.
They would come on, or I know some people doing some arts, like, sure. And she would another list. Wow, she really is out in these streets like that. Like, okay, all right. So I'm like, okay, now we got to make it a business. Like, okay, you got to get for real about this thing, because I ain't expected to start taking off like this, So really, I started getting more like, okay, you are a brand, you're a business, so it's time to act like so. Everything you put out, how you conduct this. Still don't got it all figured out, because I'm getting out the mud, leaning on God as I go. But you definitely got to keep on getting out of your comfort zone, reaching out to people. And God started saying, well, it's time to get off Anchor and go live. Like, I don't know what you're talking about, dog. I don't that bitch.
It's time to up your game.
When I don't hear nothing. No, I don't hear nothing. It was January this year. You were saying, like, I don't hear none of that. Cool. Got to send the link. We do audio. We good. And then more guests like, well, I got people that want to engage. Now, are you live? Like, Anchor ain't live. What are you talking about?
But you live.
The voice like God just sitting on the side, like, you going to keep playing this game, you're going to do what you're supposed to do, dog. Don't figure out, all right, here you go, stream, y'all, go research. Like, man, all right, this is. I guess I got to do it this way now. First episode, I was terrified. People going to look at me, oh my God. But, my mentality, suck it up, grind
and drive on.
And then start getting more comfortable doing it. To where I learned about calendar, because that's how, unfortunately, I did rank up a lot of episodes. Writing everything down on paper wasn't always good, because I would overbook, like, ooh, you got 4 episodes. How you do that? Well, we're about to grind. Let's get to it. You tired later because you said you would do it. They said they'd do it. So that calendar app, that works awesome. Like, okay, here you go. Go pick your date and time. I'm good to go.
It keeps me together. If I didn't. But it's the simplicity in the way you started, though. Like, there's always courses, master classes, frameworks, and all these things that we can study and do. But the biggest thing is that I hear you saying is just get out there and do it.
Get out the mud, man.
Get out the mud, and whatever level you're able to start. If you're able to drop a whole lot of coins to get all of the fancy setups, then do that and get started. If you're not able to start, pick up your phone. Get on one of these podcast platform apps and just go to talk.
If you go to my YouTube channel, Middle Ground with JLE LLC, and you go to the first, those were the off the trunk, just recorded with my iPhone. Doing Zoom, just straight old school with it. You'll see over time, like, okay, he got a little better with production. Yeah. And I ain't that sweet, but I'm nice.
There you go. I mean, you have an amazing platform. And you didn't stress about the mechanics of how everything worked. You just were getting the job done.
Yeah. Now, I did have to fix the intro, because I'm like, okay, look here. This is, we top shelf. We can't be having your pitch go up and down playing the song. I need Detroit Love to play beginning to end. So when I transcribe Anchor, just hit send. That's it. I had to figure that out.
Hey, in the meantime, you work with what you had until you get to what you wanted. And you got the job done. You got out there. And notice that even while you were building and climbing, what I want the audience to take away is it did not hinder you from getting the guests.
No. I mean,
they're willing to guest on your platform and grow with you.
Hey, I'm truly humbled to sit front row for their stories. The most humbling was Mr. Vulnerability, Carl Watkins, was a guest not too long ago and mentioned he don't really do stuff on the weekend. Shout out to him, but he really wanted to be a part of the show. And we did a Saturday show. Like, wow, people are watching what I'm doing.
Yeah, they are. They're watching. So those that are listening, if you are thinking about starting a podcast journey and you got reservations or apprehensions because you've been doing all of this research and it's overwhelming, baby, just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it. Check out Jeffery Edwards on LinkedIn. Get on his YouTube, get on his Facebook, watch the evolution, watch the growth, and just get out there and do it. And it's going to fix itself as you go along.
Yeah.
It's going to fix itself as you go along. Now, you mentioned, because I don't want us, I love podcasting. I love podcasting, and I love learning about podcasting. Like, I haven't been doing 7 seasons of my podcast. I'm in season 3. A lot to learn. It is easy to get overwhelmed if you allow that. It's easy to get overwhelmed if you allow it, but just keep working at your craft, keep producing the episodes, and everything else will come as it comes. But you're a musician.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about that before we wrap up. You're a musician. You got a new album out. And, I think I was in attendance for
a listening party
with teacher, right?
Yeah, JLE World, that's awesome.
Yeah, JLE, we're gonna talk about it.
You gotta start on all them Apple Music. Great music, great story. It's funny because the first album I did was I had got back into music for the JLE experience. I just wanted to prove to myself that I know I can make some dope, good music.
Mm-hmm.
And then after I did that, I'm like, okay, well, you gotta make a few more albums. So purpose of the second one was just to be music. Now I've been writing songs since 12 years old. In 8th grade. And this one, it was so musical. The title track, JLE World, we used keys, banging on tables, the wall, all type of stuff to make the sounds for that. We got real music.
Wow. Listen, he did album promotion, a live album promotion with Tisha Hammond, and I was able to be a part of that experience. And some of those tracks, the ones that I was able to hear then, I'm telling you, you don't want to miss this. You're on SoundCloud as well, aren't you?
I think I'm on there. I'm on almost all digital platforms, Amazon, Google Play, iTunes.
So it don't matter what kind of device you got. It's music.
Type of JLE World or Jeffery Edwards, you'll come across me somewhere.
So what you said, now with the second album, you were inspired with the second album for, what was your major inspiration for it? Like, I can't get the question. Like, what was your major inspiration for the second album?
To see, can I get better as an artist? I would say and with the first album, each track was each time I went to the studio. So about time I got to, I say I don't know. I started really learning my groove to get better by each song. And that song is not, a lot of songs, my album is not always me in a scenario. Mm-hmm. I try to create a story. Mm-hmm. That song was a story, a small argument between the man and his wife and how you deal with it. Mm-hmm. At the time, my wife thought, "Are you writing about us?" Like, no, just new scenario. Okay. Something minor. He go downtown. He looking at the downtown Belle Isle. It's a nice part we could go to, chill out, and just talk through the song. Because every song want to have a story. Because my musical role model was Babyface.
Okay.
I loved how through his chorus, it told the song, but the verses led up to it. So I always still keep that in mind. Okay, well, what's the story I'm trying to tell for the song?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's what I've been through, and sometimes it's just a story.
It's just a story.
And
those make the best songs, though.
Yeah, and the second album, it was really musical, like The World on Fire about George Floyd's situation. I wrote that back in 2020.
Okay.
I just didn't put it out until the album was done. Then as I started dealing with separating, You Will Not Break Me was my You Don't Have to Call, so to speak, just what my thoughts was and put all that into song. And I would say one of the dopest track on the album, One Day. My producer gave me the track. I'm like, oh, this beat awesome. And I was sitting there just coming up with words like, one day it'd be cool if you ain't judging us by color of our skin, but the content of our character. I just started coming up with a story about too much young black death going on, or death in general with gun violence.
Right.
After a while, I'm like, wow, this is a dope song. So I've been trying to be better by each song.
With each song. It's all about growth, right?
Yeah.
It's all about growth. Like you exemplify growth in how you've grown as a podcaster. And with your music, your intentionality, your inspiration behind it is to see, not only can I do it, but can I get better each time that I do it?
Oh, yeah.
If that's not a growth mindset, I don't know what is.
Yeah, every track got to be better than the last one.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Inspirational, motivational, and you're a man of action. You're not just talking about it, you're being about it.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, you're going to fail, but you'll learn through failure.
That's it. Say that again. You learn through what?
You'll learn through failure.
Absolutely. The wins are great. We want the wins. Mm-hmm. But the failures are necessary so that we can learn and grow.
And if you got people telling you what you can't do, tell them to shut up, lean on God, get out the mud, and keep grinding.
That's it. That is it. Wow.
They're scared to try what they should be doing.
Come on now. That's why they have time to talk trash about you, because they're not doing anything.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, your advice once you start making some strides, like, well, how did you do that? Like, the smack you talking though.
Yeah. Listen, Jeff, it has been such a pleasure having you on the podcast today. Tell us one more time where people can find your podcast, where they can find your music, and how they can connect with you, because they need to connect.
The podcast, you can find it Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, iTunes, YouTube, my YouTube channel, Middle Ground with JLE LLC. My music, all digital platforms, YouTube, just type in Jeffery Edwards or JLE Experience, JLE World. Go buy it, support it. Same with the books, Amazon.com, #Musician Thoughts, Inspirational Book Series. And if you want to connect with me, you can connect with me at Middle Ground with JLE on Instagram or Jeffery Edwards on LinkedIn.
Awesome. So he is everywhere. There is no excuse for you not to be able to connect with him. Get the book series, get the music, subscribe to the YouTube channels, subscribe to the podcast, Middle Ground with JLE LLC on all major podcasting platforms.
Mm-hmm.
There's no excuse. You are, as someone told me a few days ago, you are Googleable.
Yeah, that's still crazy.
That was so funny. Like, Googleable, is that a word? It don't matter. I like it, so I'm using it. It's mine now. You are Googleable, sir. Like, get out there and get connected with Jeffery Edwards. You will not be disappointed. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with the audience before we wrap up today?
Anything that God put on your heart to do might seem impossible, but the possible is possible if you believe that if you try, He'll give you the tools you need to get it done.
That's it.
Try.
That's it. All he's looking for is our effort, and he's going to do the rest. I love it. I love it. Jeff, thank you again for coming on. I appreciate you, sir.
No problem. Appreciate you.
Hey, look, we're going to keep grinding together and keep doing great things together. Amen.
Amen.
Listen, guys, those of you that have been tuned into the podcast for the very first time, thank you so much for listening. Please hit those like, share, and subscribe buttons. Continue to follow Laquita's Toolbox podcast on all major podcast listening platforms. Leave us a rating and a review as well. I want to hear from you. Let me know the things that you like about the podcast. I also want to know the things that you don't like. If you're saying, Laquita, your whole little mission statement, you missing the mark, sis. Like, I'm not getting the tools I need. What are the tools that you need? Tell me about them so that I can make sure that I start to make sure that we have the guests and provide you the tools necessary for you to grow personally and professionally as an entrepreneur. Until next time, I'm your host, Laquita Monley. You guys be great and have an amazing rest of your day. Take care.